Okay, today's lesson 2.4 is solving multi-step inequalities. There usually are 4 steps to solving each of these problems, at least the more difficult ones. The first step is to get rid of parentheses. And we do this by distributing, which usually means to multiply across a set of parentheses. The last example will have that. Our second step is to collect variables on the same side. And that's done usually by adding or subtracting. It depends whether you want to cancel something on one side or whether you're just collecting things together. So pay attention where the variables are. Our third step is typically adding or subtracting to get rid of some sort of constant number. And then finally we can multiply or divide to get rid of the multipliers, to eliminate the multiplier. All right, and that should isolate the variable by itself. Our first example here is a simple 2-step problem. Notice there are no parentheses and there is only one variable. This should make a nice simple 2-step problem. So the first thing we do is we add -7 to both sides. 9 plus -7 is 2. Here the 7's cancel. So I'm left with y over -6, which means divided by. Our next step then will be to cancel that -6, and we do that by multiplying by -6 over 1. So I multiply the 2 by -6 over 1. Don't forget, we just multiplied by a negative number, so this inequality symbol is going to switch to a greater than. The 2 and the -6 give me -12. This -6's cancel, leaving me just y. So we go to our number line now and graph this solution. We need 0 and -12. Our boundary point, our critical spot, -12, does not get filled in. Only the values to the right are the values that work. Okay? So there we have the solution. Y is greater than -12 and the graph. Example 2. Still no parentheses, so we don't have to worry about distribution, but we do have variables on both sides. So in this case, we need to collect them together. I'm going to do that by adding -2x to both sides. And all I'm left with on the right side is an 11. On the left side, I get 4x minus 9. And so we're down to the 2-step process of I have to get rid of the 9 and the 4. Usually in these scenarios, you're always going to focus on the -9 first. So we're going to add 9 to both sides. And we get 20 here. And all I have is a 4x left. And so to get rid of that 4, we're going to divide by 4 and divide by 4. And so we end up with 1x is greater than or equal to 5. Graphing that on the number line. 0, 5. Your boundary point, make sure you fill it in this time because it can be 5. And then it would be all the values to the right of 5. Don't forget, box your answer in, circle it, something like that. Okay? All right, our second and last problem. Here we do have parentheses, and we do have variables on both sides. So this is the trickiest of them all. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the parentheses and take that 4 and distribute it across both of them. So 4 times the 2b gives me 8b, and then 4 times the 3 gives me 12. The next thing we'll do is collect our b's together. So we have an 8b and an 8b. So I'm going to cancel one of them. But this time when I cancel one of them, both of them end up canceling, which is kind of weird and it makes us nervous. But we're just going to write down what's left on both sides of the equation. And then we have to read this and ask ourselves, do we have a true statement or do we have a false statement in this case because the variables completely disappeared? In this case, -3 is not greater than -12, so we have a false statement. So there are no solutions to this problem. So we don't even need to create a graph. Yippee! Good luck in doing your homework problems.